Hello, my friends. Today's date is February the 3rd, and this is a reading for you if this is your birth date. Or if this is a anniversary or special occasion date, you can see how it applies. But primarily, this is the birthday reading for the year to follow. It's a 4 card pull, a general energy card, a energy that might go through the year or something that might, crack it open, make you look at it. And then there's a challenge you might face this year, and then there's an action you can take to stay in balance this year. Then there's an outcome or synopsis card, and we'll talk about that in a minute. This is the card of the year, the general energy card of the year. It is the cave. So what's the cave ask us to reflect upon? Well, there is a magical retreat inside of you that is your cave. And most teachers say it's the cave that's inside your heart. And it's a place where you can go, where you'll feel safe and you'll feel comforted and you'll feel compassion toward you, and you'll get to be quiet, and you'll get to hear yourself in the deepest places and the deepest understandings of yourself, where you can bridge some of your pain, where you can bridge some of your unease, where you can bridge some of your distrust or your sense of abandonments, and really learn about the wider parts of yourself that hold none of those energies, that hold none of that thought, that is light and clear and crystal clean about connection to spirit and being one with everyone else. So the cave is that bridge. Now, maybe this is a cave outside of yourself that you can go to and find your retreat and find your quiet and find your compassion and find your calm and look deeply at yourself. But most of the time, the cave is really about where you go for your own retreat when you don't necessarily know what the next step is, or you feel like you need to be quiet and rest, or you feel like something is eating at you and you need a place to lay it down, where no one's going to bother it and no one's going to bother you and no one's going to throw more stuff at you, and you're going to be able to sit with your own self, your own mind, and learn how to quiet it. So what is your particular challenge? February 3rd, folks, it's the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands to me is a lot about adventure. It's maybe it's the adventure of having created or creating some kind of spiritual baby, something that really feels so compelling to you that you're willing to jump into it and do it. Maybe the Three of Wands is asking about going on an adventure and compelling you to live with your passion and live with your dreams and live with your spirit of adventure, and take your fire and take your will and go out and see the world. Or maybe that world is right in front of you, and it's something you've created and you've given a lot of passion to and you've given a lot of fire to, but you want to do that. This is all about where you're taking your will. Where will you go? What will you do? So this is your challenge, to either be okay with staying and focusing on something you've created when something else is calling you, or about something else calling you to go out and seek it out. And either way, there's a reluctance in you, it seems. There's a reluctance to either go out on your adventure, or a reluctance to be okay with what you have really put your heart and soul into in creating. And there's some kind of almost a feeling of disconnect. Maybe you haven't heard some side of yourself. Maybe you haven't caught some real strong gleaming in yourself that gives you clarity. Maybe it's time to go into the cave to hear what your heart really says about all this, to see what your soul says about what would nurture you, what would take you on a heart journey, what would feed you, what would let you thrive, what would give you peace as well as give you joy. So what is the action you can take? Well, elk is a powerful creature of familiarity. The elk, they travel long, long, long distances. Their voyage, land voyage, is a long one, and it requires great stamina and great perseverance and great trust and great understanding of one's power. So the elk is all about doing the things that really nurture you and feeding you well and doing your exercise and eating the right foods and giving yourself a sense of body awareness. The elk is also about hanging out with people of like-mindedness. Now, elk males hang out with elk males most of the year until it's time for finding a female and creating the babies. But then as soon as the babies are, well, not even maybe as soon as the babies are there, but as soon as the messing around is there, the elk go off by themselves again, the males with the males and the females with the females. And maybe that is the structure that is calling to you, to find those people who are like-minded, who can see things from the same vantage point that you see them from. Now, this doesn't have to be about sexuality. It doesn't have to be about hanging out with the same sex of beings or having sex with those beings or whatever you want to take it. Maybe it's just about finding people who are like-minded, who are passionate, and can offer you a sense of a spiritual direction that feels right for them, that might feel right for you. So this is the information that you need to do in order to undergo. I think this is about journeying, and I think you're going to take a journey, and I think the antlers on your head and the cave in your heart are going to tell you that your emotional journey is much more important than your mental journey right now, that your journey toward healing yourself and healing some old pains and trusting yourself and finding your voice and your passion and seeing what is sacred to you and seeing what your heart says is sacred to you is really important this year. And in that place, do you come into a sacred balance within yourself, that you allow yourself, I think, what the cave offers you: patience, trust, quiet, reflection, healing, growth, stamina, and a sense of connection to the sacred and the divine that is, in the recognition that it is always there if one quiets one's minds and quiets one's soul and goes into one's heart and opens oneself to the very nature of things. Then you know how to use your fire. And the Three of Wands is all about how to use your fire, what to direct your passion to, what to direct your fire to, what to direct your will to. What will you do that makes the most sense to you on all levels of your mind, your heart, your body, and your willpower, your sacred desires to find yourself and have meaning in the world and create yourself in some way that gives you a true sense of yourself, finding your authenticity and living up to your own sense of who you are and what you need to do in this world and how you need to be in this world. So allow the cave this year to be a place of great comfort and a place of great security and a place where you can explore, I think, more of the feelings that are in your soul rather than the mind thoughts that might be pushing you to do one thing or another, but you can't really decide what you want to do yet. I think that spark of you that wants to go on an adventure and have a bigger sense of yourself and your power and your fire and your passion wants to find itself and can find itself through the offerings of those of the same mind or the same sex. If you choose to, hang around those beings who share the same sex and can look at life from that particular viewpoint so that you can become clearer about who you are and what you are in that realm. So this is a great cleansing time and a great time of quiet in preparation, I think, for a big journey that's going to come to you this year at some point. And so the allowance to allow yourself to build up your muscles and eat the right foods and listen to your heart and find out where you really want to go is going to serve you. Ahom Mitakuye Oyasin.